Let's take a look at some of Tiger Woods' golf swings this past week at the Masters. This is a chip shot, and you can see just how much he is back arm dominant through the swing. Many of you guys know, whether it's golf or baseball, I think the main thing that gives you a good swing is being lead arm dominant. The more back arm dominant your swing, the more that you're firing out your hands, the more you're going to be fighting the rotation through the hit, the body rotation. The less you exert the back arm, the more your body can freely rotate through contact. You can see in even just a small chip shot here, watch how his head has to move upwards as he goes through contact. He's trying to create space. If you're more lead arm dominant instead of back arm dominant, you actually will tend to do the opposite through contact. You'll actually get a little bit closer to the ball with your head through contact. This is just so indicative of just how much his back arm overexerts. You can see it in regular motion. He's kind of lifting up through the hit. A lot of people say, especially to beginners, keep your head down. Well, what they're seeing is that beginners will tend to be back arm dominant, and you need to create space. If your back arm is exerting too much, then obviously you can't rotate freely through contact because you're lifting up trying to create space, create room for your back arm to extend as you go through. Tiger's doing that as he goes through contact, and it doesn't give him, well, it basically gives him a lot of flip through the hit. It's hard to determine your distance, and for drives and longer shots, it's hard to control your ball flight. Here's another angle. We can see from the top here, again, the back arm is exerting too much right from the top. It doesn't really matter if you're just flattening the club out as you transition. You can flatten the club out and not be stopping your back arm overexertion. The quintessential piece is not overexerting the back arm. And you can see through contact, there's a lot of flip in his hit. You can see right there. He's lifting up with his body as he's extending the back arm, and he's just flipping at the ball. Even Tiger Woods, who's, honed his skills in his hands of getting the club head square at contact for so many years. If your back arm is overexerting too much, even someone like him is not going to be able to control the ball flight on a consistent basis, at least not as consistently as someone who's more lead arm dominant. As we go to his drives, one thing it's funny, he keeps elements of all the swings that he's worked on. Here you can see a lot of that Haney type of keeping the club head outside the hands halfway back type of move. This was all red herrings as far as I'm concerned. All this stuff that he worked on with any one of his swing coaches only gave him more back arm dominance, and they weren't good changes. And if they didn't give him more back arm dominance, they at least were just distractions from actually focusing on what matters. So as he's going here into contact, you can see he's all crunched up here. This is not a very good position. His arms are extended out. He's not rotated freely through the hit. Way too much back arm extension. You can see the club head by the white blur there. So the club head is still not closing and going to the inside. It's just very poor positioning. Very flippy through contact. What he needs to feel here is, as he's transitioning, he's got to feel the lead arm compress and stay compressed up against his body. He's too quickly firing the arm out, the back arm right here. What I would want to do is just spend some time swinging with just the lead arm. Get the structure down. What structure do you want to have when swinging with just the lead arm? Hit some balls like that. What Tiger Woods probably needs to feel is the structure that he was used to as a kid. He just had this, he hung out a little bit longer at the top of his backswing. This enabled him to basically to not have to flip through contact. Instead, he went with like a Ben Hogan type of immediate transition from the backswing into the downswing, trying to create that exaggerated lag as he started his downswing. And then you can see just flipping terribly through contact. Not a very, you can just see with the naked eye, if you watch his swings, they just don't have the fluidity. See that? How it's kind of, it's fast at like too early in the swing. It's like he's, I mean, what they say about amateurs, they come up out of it. Well, they're coming up out of it because there's too much back arm exertion. Watch it in regular motion, just how it looks clunky. It looks like it's not good mechanics. I mean, you can discern good mechanics with the naked eye. See how he just kind of flips at it? There's something going on through contact. Well, basically he's running out of room and having to lift up, and he's extending hard as he goes through contact. Just never going to be, I don't care how much experience you have of using your hands to square the club face. You just can't be as consistent as possible with this movement. This is Garrett Bunting, One Arm Bandit on Instagram. A buddy of mine who shoots great golf with just his lead arm. Watch as he transitions. You can see the club head, the path that it's taking into the backswing. Watch what it does here as he goes into the downswing. Look at this flattening action that it does. This will happen naturally without the back arm on the club. This is the movement that you want, that flattening action right here. And now watch as he goes through contact. He doesn't run out of room. He doesn't have to lift up. If his back arm from this point was if he had his back arm and it was on the club and he was extending it hard, then he would have to halt his rotation a little bit and lift up out of it. But because he doesn't have any back arm on the club at all, watch how he actually sinks down into contact. His body is 100% squaring this club. Notice he's actually going down into contact like the great ball strikers often do. Lee Trevino, Ben Hogan. This is because he is what I would call lead arm dominant, of course. Not having a back arm to exert. Look how wide his finish is. Another characteristic of great ball strikers, a really wide finish. Now here, conversely, is someone who plays with just his back arm. This can be done. I'm not saying that you can't play with just your back arm, but what the disadvantage that the back arm has is it's got no massive body behind it. And it's going to want to therefore extend. It's like that's the only recourse that it has. And I would bet this guy would do much better to make his one arm his lead arm and turn around and hit lefty. You can see as he goes in towards contact, he's getting a little bit stuck here. And from here, there's too much back arm exertion as he goes into contact. You can see the back arm pretty much extends right at contact, and then he flips. This is just what the back arm is going to tend to want to do, and it doesn't work very well for baseball or golf. It doesn't work very well to have a more back arm dominant swing structure. And you can see it just kind of to the naked eye, it just looks a little bit differently. If we look at the two swings here, there's the lead arm and there's the back arm. You can see there's just a little hiccup going on with the back arm where he has to kind of lift up and kind of try to make room. He almost gets straight up and down with his spine. It just looks like it's kind of less fluid through contact. So hope you guys enjoy this. What I say about the golf swing or the baseball swing is not what is conventionally said. In the paradigm out there in golf swing instruction and baseball swing instruction, they are unaware of this lead arm dominant structure and the importance of leaning hard towards lead arm dominance in your swing structure. This is really what's missing in golf and baseball swing instruction. And I think that this understanding of lead arm dominance is really going to make a complete overhaul within golf swing instruction. Once they figure out the importance of lead arm dominance, then the course of action will be obvious. And I lay it all out in my book, Lead Arm Progression. Check it out at theswingmechanic.com. It's my new golf book. And I show you exactly how to change your swing to be more lead arm dominant. So check that out. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you next time.